The room went silent as the four-star general stared at the call sign flashing on the giant screen. Raven 9. His tone turned sharp. "Whose call sign is that?" he demanded. The young female pilot standing before him hesitated for a moment, her eyes cold and unreadable. When she finally answered, the words made the entire command center freeze. "Sir, that's my father's call sign. The one you declared Kia 15 years ago. If you love your mom and dad, hit that subscribe button and show some love to her, because this story will take you into the heart of sacrifice, secrets, and a legacy that refuses to die." It was a cold morning at Edwards Air Force Base. The desert wind carried a faint scent of jet fuel, the kind that never really leaves the air. Inside Hangar 17, technicians swarmed over a sleek gray aircraft, the new F-39 Valkyrie, a next-generation stealth fighter that even senior officers weren't clear to fully understand. The test flight that day was supposed to be routine, but nothing about that morning would end up routine. Captain Elena Cross, call sign Raven 9, sat quietly in the cockpit, hands resting lightly on the controls. At 29, she was already a legend among her peers, sharp, composed, and ruthless in the air. Her calm under pressure had earned her the nickname the Ghost Falcon. No one knew much about her past, other than the fact that her father, Colonel Jonathan Cross, had been one of the most decorated fighter pilots in U.S. Air Force history before disappearing during a covert mission 15 years earlier. Official reports had listed him as killed in action, but the truth, as Elena was about to learn, was buried far deeper. At precisely 0800 hours, she received clearance. "Raven 9, you're a go for launch." The Valkyrie roared down the runway, slicing to the horizon like a blade of lightning. Ground control watched in awe as her flight path painted perfect arcs across their radar. "She's flying that thing like she was born in it," one tech whispered. General Nathan Briggs, a man known for his iron discipline, watched from the control tower. He'd seen thousands of flights in his 30-year career, but something about this one made him uneasy. He didn't know why. Not yet. Halfway through the exercise, an unexpected signal appeared on the radar. A faint blip at the edge of restricted airspace. "Unidentified bogey, 3 miles north of Sector 7, a technician reported. Briggs frowned. "That's impossible. There's no scheduled traffic in that sector." "Signal's faint but steady," the tech said. "Looks like an old tactical frequency." Briggs stepped forward. "Patch it through?" Static hiss to the speakers, then a broken voice, gravelly and familiar. "This is Raven 9, requesting vector clearance." Everyone froze. Briggs's eyes narrowed. "Repeat that. Who is this?" The voice came again, stronger this time. "This is Raven 9, on final approach." The room went silent. Briggs turned toward the comms officer. "Whose call sign is that?" The officer hesitated. "Sir, that's the same call sign as Captain Cross." Briggs blinked. "The same as the pilot in the air right now?" "Yes, sir. Exactly the same." Briggs turned to the big screen. Elena's Valkyrie was still airborne, her calm voice transmitting from thousands of feet up. "Raven 9 to command. Copy bogey on radar. Moving to intercept." "Negative." Briggs snapped. "Stand down. That's a restrictive frequency." But Elena had already engaged. Her eyes narrowed as she caught the faint shimmer of something moving through the clouds. The bogey wasn't on standard transponder channels, but her instruments locked on. It was an aircraft, old, battle-worn, yet somehow invisible to the current radar grid. "This can't be right," she murmured. "Raven 9, return to base immediately." Briggs's voice boomed in her headset. "Negative control." Elena said firmly, "I have visual." She nosed her jet forward, the clouds parting to reveal an aircraft straight out of a ghost story. A F-22 Raptor, scarred, patched, but still alive in the air. And on its tail, painted in faded white letters, was a call sign she'd only seen in her father's logbooks. Raven 9. Her pulse froze. "Command," she whispered. "You're not going to believe this." Down below, General Briggs leaned toward the mic. "Captain Cross, report." She took a shaky breath. "Sir, I have visual confirmation of 22 Serial 1217. The aircraft is flying with my father's call sign. The control room erupted in noise. Officers scrambled, shouting into headsets. Data analysts confirmed what none of them wanted to believe. That tail number belonged to Colonel Jonathan Cross, officially declared Kia over 15 years ago during Operation Iron Wing. Briggs's face went pale. He'd been there the day Jonathan's jet vanished. He'd signed the death certificate himself. Captain Cross, he said carefully, you are to disengage immediately. Elena's voice came back, firm but trembling. Negative, sir. I'm making contact. Captain, that's an order. But it was too late. The mysterious F-22 pulled alongside her jet, flying in perfect formation. The pilot's helmeted face turned toward her, and for one haunting moment, she could see the faint reflection of familiar eyes behind the visor. Dad, she whispered. The other pilot raised a hand in salute, then veered away, climbing hard into the upper stratosphere. Raven 9, come back, she shouted, throttling forward, chasing the aircraft as it soared toward the sun. Her engines roared, but the old F-22 climbed faster, impossibly faster. Then, just like that, it vanished off radar. Back at base, chaos reigned. Technicians scrambled to explain it. No transponder, no IFF, no data trace. One reported. It's like it never existed. Elena landed minutes later, her hands shaking as she removed her helmet. The entire command center waited in silence as she stepped into the debriefing room. Face pale but defiant, General Briggs entered, closing the door behind him. Captain Cross, he said quietly, what you saw you cannot speak of outside this base. Do you understand? With respect, sir, she said, you can't cover this up. He met her eyes, and for a moment, the mask of the hardened general slipped. You don't understand, he said softly. Your father wasn't killed. He was erased. Elena's breath caught. What do you mean? Briggs leaned closer. 15 years ago, Operation Iron Wing wasn't just a mission. It was a black project, off book, no records. Your father volunteered to test an experimental stealth system designed to make aircraft invisible even to U.S. radar. It went wrong. He and his plane disappeared off the grid. We thought it was a malfunction, but there were rumors that the system worked too well. She stared at him. You're telling me he's been alive all this time? Briggs exhaled slowly. We don't know. That's what scares me. Before Lena could respond, a siren blared across the base. Incoming encrypted transmission priority Alpha. Technicians rushed to the consoles. A scrambled voice crackled through, low, distorted, but unmistakably human. Command, this is Raven 9. Repeat, Raven 9 requesting clearance. Briggs's face went ghost white. He turned slowly toward Elena. That's him. Elena grabbed the headset. Dad? It's me. It's Elena. Static. Then a pause. And then, faintly, Elena, you shouldn't be here. Her knees nearly gave out. Where are you? We thought you were dead. No time, the voice said urgent. They'll track this. Listen to me. Project Black Veil was never shut down. They're still running it. You're in danger. Get out of that base. Now. The transmission cut off. The room exploded into chaos. Briggs barked orders for encryption lockdown, but before anyone could respond, the power flickered. Then the base plunged into darkness. Emergency lights flashed red. EMP hit, someone shouted. Elena's instincts kicked in. She bolted toward Hangar 17. If my father's alive, I'm finding him. Briggs caught up shouting, Cross! That's an order. Stand down. But she was already in the cockpit, engines roaring. Moments later, the Valkyrie blasted into the night sky, slicing through the darkness. The radar flickered, interference everywhere. Then, a blip, faint, moving fast. Dad, she whispered. She followed the signal deep into the Nevada desert, where a storm brewed like a wall of ink. Lightning flashed, illuminating a vast crater below. And inside, the unmistakable silhouette of a hidden airstrip, one that didn't exist on any map. Her headset crackled again. Raven 9, Abort approach. This is a restricted zone. Raven, 9 requesting visual clearance, she replied, her tone steely. Authorization crossed Delta 7. There was silence. Then, a voice she hadn't heard in 15 years. Authorization accepted. Welcome home, Captain. Her breath caught. Dad! As her Valkyrie touched down, floodlights bathed the strip in white. Out of the shadows stepped a man, older, bearded, but unmistakably Jonathan Cross. His eyes glistened with disbelief. You're real. Elena ran to him, tears streaming. They said you were dead. He pulled her close. They tried to make it true. Before they could speak more, black SUVs roared into the hangar. Men in unmarked uniforms stormed out, weapons raised. Both of you, hands up. Jonathan pushed her behind him. They're part of it, he growled. The same project that erased me. A voice echoed through a megaphone. Colonel Cross, stand down. You're under arrest for treason. Elena's eyes widened. Treason. Her father smiled bitterly. They always call it treason when you know too much. Gunfire erupted. Jonathan grabbed his sidearm, returning fire with frightening precision. Elena dove for cover, her training taking over. Together, father and daughter fought back. 2 generations of pilots, now soldiers on the ground. When the smoke cleared, the attackers were down. Sirens wailed in the distance, reinforcements. Jonathan turned to her, urgency in his eyes. You have to go. I'm not leaving you again. He handed her a data drive. Everything, the truth about Project Black Veil. You expose this, they'll never bear it again. Tears blurred her vision. Come with me? He smiled sadly. Not this time, Raven 9. She hesitated, then hugged him tight. I love you, Dad. Fly fast, Elena. She sprinted back to her jet as he covered her, gun blazing. The engines roared, and as she soared into the storm, lightning lit up the desert below. Her father's figure silhouetted against the chaos before disappearing into the smoke. Hours later, Elena landed at a secret debrief site and handed the drive to General Briggs. His hands trembled as he loaded the data, footage, documents, and mission logs confirming everything Jonathan had said. The next day, the government launched an inquiry. Project Black Veil was dismantled, its leaders arrested. But Jonathan Cross was never found. Official reports called him missing. A year later, during a ceremony at Arlington, Elena stood at attention as the general approached. We're giving your father full honors, he said softly. She saluted. He'd rather you give him his call sign back. Briggs smiled faintly. We already did. Raven, 9 belongs to both of you now. As the bugle played, a jet streaked across the sky. Single, silent, unmarked. For a moment, Elena thought she saw the faint shimmer of an F-22 disappearing into clouds. She whispered, Fly safe, Dad. And somewhere in the distance, a faint voice echoed in her headset. Proud of you, Raven 9. The line went dead, but her heart knew. He was still out there, watching, guarding, flying.